Okay, welcome. We have a full room tonight. All right. So I want to start the City Council meeting, April 14th, 6 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Dina, do we have a quorum?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance is going to be by Nate. Yes?
Y'all stand with me, please. Let's pray first. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together as a city and just the opportunity to come together and to let voices be heard, let reasonable discussion take place. And we just thank you for just all the opportunities that lay before this city. May we make decisions wisely. And I pray, Lord, that as you said in Micah, that we will do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with you. So please bless our time together this evening. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on. So I have a Bible verse. So in everything to do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. Matthew 7:12. So there's something I want to start at this meeting. I want to start recognizing and highlighting two of our local businesses here in Willow Park. We were sad to see the Butcher leave and also Drake's Yoke close. So I'd like to do as much as we can to promote our businesses here in Willow Park. The first one I want to introduce a new business in Willow Park, Back 9, and the owner, Lance Westlake, is here. So Lance, would you come forward and tell us just a short amount of time about your new business, please?
Yes, of course. Into the microphone?
Yes, please.
All right. Hey, everyone. So we just opened. It's called the Back 9 Golf. It's a 24/7 indoor golf facility. So we have 4 golf simulator bays. But members can come any time of day or night. It's unmanned, but you get a code on your phone when you book a tee time online. It unlocks the door, you go in, you set up, you bring your clubs, you swing away. And so you can do different things. We use full swing technology, which allows you to do driving range, practice areas, things like that, but also there's over 60 real golf courses that you can actually play. We also have a grand opening celebration this Saturday, the 18th, from 11 to 3. Please come by. Our location is right across the street from the AAI baseball fields. So good little traffic area. There's a couple other businesses right in the same spot opening as well. April 18th, come on by. We'll be there. We'll have some food and drinks catered in. So from the Parker County Brewery, another local business. So
Thank you very much,
Yep,
Lance.
of course. Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Welcome. Okay, the second business is Chibi, and I've always called it CB, but it's pronounced Chibi. Just found that out today. Matteo Clavata is the owner and the chef who bought the restaurant about 5 years ago. Everything is handmade in-house, and he won 3 awards from the Taste of the Town. Matteo moved here from Italy 18 years ago, so please, if you will also go to Chibi and support our local businesses, I sure appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we have a proclamation because it is actually Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So I have Dina is going to read a statement for us.
Okay. We have Demetria Block from Freedom House is here to receive the proclamation. So the proclamation reads, I, Teresa Palmer, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Willow Park, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Sexual Assault Awareness Month, SAM, calls attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and impacts every person in the community. SAM aims to raise public awareness about sexual violence and educate our community about how best to prevent it. Sexual assault's prevalence is based on the widespread, devastating abuse of power, one that affects people of every age, race, gender, identity, national origin, socioeconomic background, and religion. And whereas rape and sexual assault are harmful within our community, with over 53% of women and nearly 30% of men reported experiencing contact sexual violence at some point in their lifetime, and whereas approximately 8 in 10 women and 7 in 10 men who experience sexual violence report knowing the individual who harmed them, and whereas more than 1 in 4 non-Hispanic Black women, 29% in the United States, have been raped in their lifetime. And whereas 1 in 3 Hispanic women, 34%, have experienced unwanted sexual contact in their lifetime, and whereas more than 4 in 5 American Indian and Alaskan Native women, 84%, have experienced violence in their lifetime. And whereas individuals with disabilities are at significantly higher risk of sexual violence, with studies indicating they experience sexual assault at rates substantially higher than those without disability. And whereas nearly half of transgender individuals, 47%, have been sexually assaulted at some point in their lives, 2026 marks the 25th anniversary of Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. Turn Texas Teal. This theme encourages individuals, communities, organizations, and institutions across Texas to stand together in raising awareness about sexual assault and supporting survivors. Wearing and displaying teal, the color of sexual violence prevention, serves as a visible commitment to ending sexual violence and showing solidarity with those affected. Turn Texas Teal emphasizes the importance of community involvement, education, and advocacy in creating safer environments. By promoting awareness, supporting survivors, and encouraging open conversations, communities can work together to prevent sexual violence and foster a culture of respect, accountability, and dignity for all individuals. Now, therefore, I, Teresa Palmer, Mayor of Willow Park, by the authority vested in me, I do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the city of Willow Park. We join Freedom House as they help survivors of sexual assault by supporting the eradication of the sexual assault through improving victim safety and holding perpetrators accountable for their actions against members of our community. In testimony whereof, witness my hand and seal, the city of Willow Park, this 14th day of April of 2026.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Y'all scoot that way just a hair, and then just face right at me. How you're holding it is perfect. Is that good? Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is do a presentation on the certificates for the commission. The first one I want to do so I want to talk about this commission, what a diverse group we had. And the difference is they spent hundreds each of hours, 6 months. They came to meetings, they came every other week, they did a lot of work at home, a lot of research that they did of other cities and everything else, that they studied different areas to be sure that they supplied our city of Willow Park with a home rule, and we had an attorney. Most nights, there was an attorney from Mr. Fort that was there overseeing everything that the commission was doing. So the first one, certificate of recognition and appreciation, first for the chairman, Gene Martin, for serving on the Home Rule Charter Commission for the city of Willow Park. Gene? Okay, we have a few that are not present tonight that I'll hand those out. So the next one we have is Roy Kerbin. Next one is Charles Hodges. Mary Dietrich. Is Carol Bracken here tonight? I did not see her, so Carol Bracken, I'll get this to her. Daryl Rugner, I don't see Daryl here. I'll get this one to him. Tandy Blackstock, Tandy's here. I don't see Jonathan Stickland tonight, so we'll get this to Jonathan. Okay. David Lorenzo is out of town. Gwendolyn Galley is not here. Michael Chandler is unavailable to come tonight. The last one I'd like to take a minute on. No matter what happens in these meetings, nothing can compare to the devastation of my good friend and neighbor across the street. I drove to City Hall with her, and I did not get to drive home with her. So those of you who do not know, 15 minutes into a council meeting in September, my friend Dixie Smith had an aneurysm. And it was right here, and I invited her husband and her sister tonight, but they really could not bear to come here, which I totally understand. So we all love Dixie. We have flowers. We have a picture of Dixie, and I miss her and her champion that she is for all of us. I think she's in heaven watching over. So I will get this to her husband and her sister. Thank you. So we're going to do a group picture real quick.
Sorry.
Can I come this direction a little bit? Like a little closer to Candy? We'll make it work.
So everybody knows, this plaque belongs to these people.
All right, if everybody just wants to get in close, we will, that looks great. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank you very much. Okay, great job. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to public comments. We do have decorum, but we're not really going with decorum right now, so I don't agree with that, but that's where they are right now. So the first one I want to call up is Hillary Shepherd. Come forward and give us your address, where you live.
Of course. All right, I'm gonna put this out. Sorry, guys, I'm not great at public speaking, so.
And talk real loud into the mic.
Yeah, of course. Well,
Thank
also
you.
short, so.
I
Like
know,
a T-Rex
right?
over here.
Pull it down.
Thanks. Okay, so, good evening, Mayor Palmer and members of the City Council. My name is Hillary Shepherd. I'm here tonight to address the issues concerning campaign signage in Willow Park. Currently, there are campaign signs placed around this city that clearly violate the Texas Election Code. These signs omit the legally required political advertising disclosures, including failing to identify who is paying for them, and they additionally disregard text dot regulations tied to signage placement along public right-of-ways. And for anybody in the room who wants any knowledge on that, I have a printout from CEC right here, so you can come see me after. These laws are not optional, they are clear, and they exist to ensure transparency and fairness in our elections. When they are ignored, it raises a very simple question. Are the rules being enforced equally, or are some in power choosing to look the other way? Because if enforcement depends on who you know, then we don't have a fair process. We have a selective one. Now, from my understanding, Willow Park does not currently operate under a formal city charter. That makes it even more important, not less, that this council and Mayor Palmer step up and provide clarity and leadership where it's needed. If the current framework isn't strong enough, then it should be fixed without hesitation. This council and Mayor Palmer should lead the way in correcting this, starting with passing stricter, clearly defined city ordinances governing campaign signage. Ensure that ordinances cover placement, required disclosures, duration, and penalties. Make them enforceable, make them clear, and most importantly, make them apply to everyone equally in accordance to the law. Because right now, what voters are seeing is a lack of accountability, which inherently breeds mistrust. And let me be clear, this isn't just about politics. It's about standards and upholding the values and principles that make our democracy what our founders intended it to be. It's about whether we are willing to hold ourselves and those seeking office to the same basic level of accountability we expect from every resident in this community. If someone cannot follow the law during a campaign when everyone is watching, why should voters trust them to follow it in office? Let me be clear when I say this, small violations send big messages. And right now, the message being sent is that the rule of law doesn't matter. That is something this council and Mayor Palmer have the power and the responsibility to correct. Early voting is almost here, and while this matter has been brought to the attention of the public, no action has yet been taken by the council and the Mayor Palmer sitting right here in front of us. That's a problem in my eyes, and I think the constituents of Willow Park behind me would agree. So my final message to the council and to Mayor Palmer is this. I urge you to act, and act now. Your actions following my address to you this evening will define your character, your integrity, and your commitment to the responsibilities of the office in which you swore an oath. I hope that each of you consider this and do what's right, and instead of serving the interest of yourselves potentially or the ones that are not abiding by the law, you do what's right for the citizens, so they have transparency in these campaigns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let me clarify, because we have more than 10 people speaking, we go from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, so that's why we have the clock set at 3 minutes. So the next speaker is Vicki Sears.
Mayor, Council, my name is Vicki Sears, and I live at 315 Chuckwagon Trail. Earlier this month, an article ran in the Dallas Morning News by Glenn Rogers titled, "The Partisanship That Has Infected Austin is Coming for Local City Councils." Rogers says, "This once quiet town has recently become a fiery political background. Kooky characters, many connected to the Tim Dunn and Ferris Wilks hyper-partisanship machine and its aligned organizations, are fighting for total control of Willow Park City Hall. This is the third time this year this information has been brought to my attention. I think it is important that citizens understand what we may be up against to keep control of Willow Park. This is a huge organizational operation, and I want to share what I've learned up to this point. Tim Dunn is an oil and gas businessman and one of the most influential political donors in Texas. Since 2015, he is the #1 individual political donor in the state of Texas, beating out Miriam Adelson and George Soros with over $33 billion in donations. Ferris Wilks is an oil businessman and an active political donor who is aligned with Dunn. Wilks is number 13 on the Texas political contributions with over $14 million in donations to date. Wilks co-founded and leads the Assembly of Yahweh Seventh Day in Cisco. Wilks also co-founded the Daily Wire with an initial investment around $4.7 million with Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring. Wilks is also among the largest financial backing of PragerU. Together, Dunn and Wilks have become two of the most private funders of political influence in Texas. They have directed significant resources into PACs, candidates, and organizations designed to shape elections, support challengers, and influence legislative outcomes. The list of organizations they have funded is extensive. It includes groups such as Defend Texas Liberty PAC, Texas for Fiscal Responsibility, and Texas Freedom Caucus, and many others, along with direct contributions to candidates across the state, including Jonathan Stickland and Mike Olcott. One key organization is Empower Texans, which has received millions in funding tied to Dunn and Wilks. Empower created Texas Scorecard, which operates not just as a news source, but as a political messaging platform designed to influence narratives, apply pressure, and shape public perception. Another key piece is Pale Horse Strategies, a political consulting and campaign operation founded by Jonathan Stickland, which now operates under the name West Fort Worth Management. Is that my time?
Shannon, yep, that's
Okay.
3 minutes.
And everything
Thank you.
can be found, I got some QR codes.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Michelle Duffy.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I have some handouts, if I can approach the bench, please.
Okay.
That might be helpful.
Sure. Thank you.
I am essentially winging this. I didn't write a dissertation. What you have right now is from the January 2026 Property Tax Assistant Division of Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts. The reason I'm bringing this to your attention is because I have written, sent smoke signals, I have done everything I can to make y'all aware that you have the ability, and I highlighted it, under general residence homestead, that as a city, if you can see, under a taxing unit, you're a city, that you have partial option. It's not mandatory, but you could reduce assessed property values by 20%, but not less than 5,000. Now, it's my understanding that, for whatever reason, the city of Willow Park thinks that this is not something they are capable of doing. I'm telling you, you can. I've talked to everyone at Parker County Appraisal District, especially Pam, and even the comptroller is telling you that you have this ability. Now, right now, last year, I spent $1,774 just giving it to the City of Willow Park, if this was applied, my house right now is being appraised at 420. If it was appraised at 20% less, it would be 336. If you multiply that by 0.004216, which is your rate right now, it would actually save me a net of $353. Now, I know that doesn't seem much to you, but I'm going around to every tax identity to let them know that this is available. I would highly recommend, A, getting familiar with Texas Comptroller. I would also recommend getting more acquainted with your Texas Constitution. Because, first of all, I'm not 65. I've never wanted to be more than 65 in all my life. I'm 61, which means I'm part of your tax base that you're getting money from. So, I have extreme respect,
Okay,
but you need to look at this.
thank you.
I had another 2 minutes, but
I know, I'm sorry.
Not
We had so
anymore.
many speakers. I'm sorry.
that's
And the next one is Jean Martin.
A quick note, I'm Gene Martin, I'm still at 700 Kingsgate Road in Willow Park.
Okay.
And I log Dixie Smith present at every committee meeting. Boy, 3 minutes.
I know, fast.
So, boondoggle. What's a boondoggle? A boondoggle is work or activity that is wasteful but gives the appearance of having value. Last year, instead of putting 1.1 million into concrete for the parking lot here, you actually did put $1,080,000 into reconstructing almost 19, or maybe a little over 19,000 linear feet of road. And that works out to $53 and $56.32 per linear foot. And if you go look in the capital improvement plan, you will find that we have 21.37 miles of Willow Park Road in the capital improvement plan at a cost of $25,329,000. Big number, $187.50 per linear foot. Okay? That's considerably more than what we paid for actually getting really good quality roads. I like the street in front of my house. The three concrete projects in the CIP were $320 a square foot. And then we come to Squaw Creek Drive. Anybody be surprised if the CIP value for that is $754.22 per linear foot? That's why I signed that petition. That's a boondoggle. That does not count the $4 million that's also in that bond package for actually relocating the water line with new pipe. Needs to be done, absolutely. The drainage on that road needs to be fixed before we actually spend the $6 million to reconstruct it. That's only $503 a linear foot. Somebody should have been looking at those numbers a little more closely before you decided to put that bond package out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean. Okay, next we have Christine Langston.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I am at 505 Queensway here in Willow Park. Been here about 15 years, and I just love our community. With all the discord lately during public comments, it was important for me to be here tonight and speak about some of the positive things that Mayor, you have done, and council, and continue to do. I wholeheartedly support you, my kind friend and mayor. I appreciate your professionalism. When you've been faced with harsh criticism, you've continually held your head high and continued to put the city of Willow Park first. Your positive approach, focusing on what citizens want, is evidenced by the items you've sponsored on agendas and the discussions you've promoted during council meetings. I've been able to understand a lot more of what's going on since you've been leading the meetings. I appreciate your efforts to increase the transparency of documentation posted online when agenda packets are provided to citizens. And citizens have been able to review employment and exit contracts, litigation letters, and the drafts of development agreements which have not been done in prior administration. I want to encourage you, Mayor Palmer, to keep up the good work that you're doing for the citizens in the face of adversity and criticism that you've endured and overcome. Hundreds of citizens love and support you. We've all voted for you, and you are here for a reason. And we want to see you achieve the goals you set out for our city. Thank you for everything you do for the city and the council members. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Kay Green.
That doesn't seem quite so important now, but up on Vista Drive, well, let me just read what I have here. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I heard at the last council meeting that the city is tracking speed on King Gates Road to see if they need to put in speed bump. I would like to request that you do this on Vista Drive. We have requested this before, so I would like y'all's consideration. I'm tired of getting the finger and being called a bad word. Thank you. The most dangerous thing we do on Vista Drive is take our mail and put out our trash. So I'm really looking forward to the bigger trash can because I'm hoping they'll see it when I'm putting it out. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Linda Wingard.
Linda Wingard. I live at 709 Kingsgate Road. And kind of like Kay, I feel like this isn't as big an issue, but I've noticed that every council meeting begins with a prayer and a Bible verse. Has anyone on council or city staff reached out to the area churches to see if their pastors might come do this every meeting instead of having to just find someone to do it on the meeting? It would be nice if there was a list of pastors to be able to call on. I know in the overall schemes, this is not really a big item, but it's a simple one to address. And I also live on Kingsgate Road, and like Jean, I would like to say thank you for tracking the speed, and hopefully we get some speed bumps and slow down those speedsters. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Bill Green. I don't know, she's going to start clicking real fast.
I'm Bill Green, live at 224 Vista Drive up on the forgotten part of Willow Park, as I've told everybody. But I'm here tonight. Since we've only got 3 minutes, I'm going to have to talk real fast. I wanted to talk about Squaw Creek. I was going to read the whole discussion that we had back on December 16th where this $10 million got voted down, but we don't have time to that. What I want to say is, the people of Squaw Creek, if you can get an old copy of this, read it and see what it talks about down here. No place on this does it mention Squaw Creek. No place on this does it say anything that's going to be fixed on Squaw Creek. But what you can pick out of it is stuff that's going to go for new construction or new places where they're going to put a whole community. You know, lights, water, all the whole works. Nothing that's concerned there in Squaw Creek. Now, why do I bring all this up? The petition that went around that some people put together, and I was one of them, saw the things that were wrong with this. Some of it legally were wrong, some of it morally wrong, and some of it just because they were afraid for the citizens to vote on it. I truly do believe that. We took up the signatures on the petitions. We got the amount that we needed to come and have the council relook at this. Now, by the way, the council had already been made aware of the problems that were on this that needed to be fixed, but chose not to do anything. We got the signatures. We turned them in at the right amount of time. The schedule was to have them 3 days ahead of whenever this was going to come up. And for some reason, the city decided not to go in and vet all of those numbers. Even though they're all on the computers, they could punch in a name and it would give it to them. And that would validate that, and that would give the council the opportunity to go in and fix this and put it on the vote that's coming up right now. Think of how many people that would have helped, but think how many people not going to get help because of the way that this went. Squaw Creek's had that water problem for a long, long time. Why hasn't it been fixed? You know, there was a election a while back, and I have not remembered the date, but Squaw Creek was on that ballot on that election, and it got approved. But not one single penny went towards the fixing of anything in Squaw Creek. Why? Where did the money go? Who spent it? Who did it go to? Those things I don't know. Now, I'm running out of time, but I got one other thing I want to say, because I had something else to do. This comes out of, you're talking about a pastor's, I'm a pastor. This comes out of Isaiah 5:23. It says, ye shall not show partiality. It blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of the righteous. You guys keep that in mind.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, item 2 is a public hearing for the proposed annexation of property owned by Bryson Adams.
I had a public comment. We
Sorry.
have 8 have spoken, and we had 10 total.
I'm sorry?
I show we have 8 people that have spoken, but we had 10 that signed up.
Oop, let's see where it is. What is your name?
Shannon Brown.
Shannon Brown. Right here. Come on up. So sorry.
Y'all bear with me because I'm talking fast. I'm picking up on Pellhorse. There's evidence from outside Texas that help explains how the system operates. During a record strategy discussion in Colorado, political leaders described how this network functions, coordinating donors, PACs, messaging platforms like Texas Scorecard, and operational groups like Pellhorse to support candidates and influence elections. According to these discussions, this team provides full campaign infrastructure, and it is not for hire. I'm talking about Jonathan Stickland in regards to Dunn and Wilkes, but instead works to advance aligned political goals according to their other sources. Tim Dunn and Wilkes' family provided the financial backing to create the Pellhorse machine. Jonathan Stickland was also president of Defend Texas Liberty PAC until controversies arose. They switched the name of the company from Pellhorse to West Fort Worth Management, LLC. This same political network has already impacted races closer to home in the most recent election for state representative in District 60, which includes Parker County. Mike Walcott defeated Glenn Rogers. Dunn and Wilkes both financially supported that campaign while messaging and campaign efforts aligned with this broader network were also active. Marcy Galley served as Alcott's legislative director during the current 89 legislative section. Members of the Wilkes family are active in Parker County and brought up huge positives to our community in the way of development. I'm skipping. Stickland, West Fort Worth Management, offices out of Wilkes Buildings, commercial development of Markham Ranch, along with other companies that they share together per Facebook post. So the question becomes, why does this matter to Willow Park? DFW housing market, this is what I focus on. DFW, the center is becoming Willow Park. They're getting put out in Dallas, Collin. They can't afford it, there's not land. Our area matters, okay? Since Mayor Palmer has taken office, there have been actions that have raised concerns for me. These include appointments and decisions that appear to involve individuals connected to this broader political network. When a seat became open, Gene Martin nominated Stickland and stated he was overqualified. I feel he has a conflict of interest. Later, Mayor Palmer appointed 14 people to a committee to create a home rule charter for Willow Park. She placed Stickland as a member on that committee. In February of this year, Mayor Palmer added an agenda item to the meeting for a sponsorship recipient in the amount of $10,000 to Artistic Productions for The Promise, which was headed up by Stickland. Now we're days before early voting, 3 council seats. If you're paying attention at all, it's clear that it's a 3 versus 3 race. Both sides are unified within. I've requested financial reports for all 6 candidates. Nathan had 3,700 in donations, 7 total donors, 3 from Willow Park, 2 from Aledo, 2 from Fort Worth. Buddy had 7,760, 21 donors total, 9 from Willow Park, 9 from outside Parker County, 12 inside Parker County, 4 out of state, with the largest.
Okay, that's
Council,
fine.
I asked for a majority rule for additional time. I was expecting 5, and I've gotten 3.
No, we can't do that, I'm
No,
sorry.
it actually is allowed.
No,
If the
I'm
council wants
sorry.
to do it.
Don't, stop doing that. Let's move on. We've got a lot to do.
I
and we
spent a
gave you
lot of
3
time on
minutes.
this. I've got 3 paragraphs left.
I'm sorry, 3 minutes is what we have.
Council, I'm giving y'all the opportunity to
No, I'm
overrule
sorry.
it.
We've
Hey,
got another
if anybody's
speaker.
interested, QR codes.
Thank you.
Every single item.
Thank you. Okay, move along, thank you. Last speaker we have is Houston Wingard. It is.
My name is Houston Wingard. I live at 709 Kingsgate. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I want to thank each and every citizen that came out here tonight and those citizens that are watching online. As citizens, we have the right to come and speak to our City Council on any subject. Case in point, tonight's speakers. And I would encourage all citizens to come forward and exercise that right. I would also urge you to stay involved and urge you to come out for the meetings on the comprehensive plan and give your input to how Willow Park will move forward. There are lots of issues to be addressed, such as infrastructure and growth, regardless of who sits on the city council. This affects all of us, and your inputs matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dina, that's your chin, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. All right, sorry, we're moving along. So the public hearing, item 2 is a public hearing for the proposed annexation of property owned by Bryson Adams with Barco Land Company, LLC, to annex approximately 7.290 acres of the land being situated in the James, I don't know how you say that, or survey, abstract, number 1029, Parker County, Texas, in the city limits, and being more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated into this agenda. This property is located south of Bankhead and Willow Bend. And now we'll open the hearing. It is 6:44. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this item? Okay, that was easy. It's still 6:44. We'll close this hearing. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to consent agenda. These items consist of non-controversial or housekeeping items required by law. Items may be considered individually by any council member making such a request prior to a motion and vote on the consent items. 3, approval of the regular city meeting minutes, March 24, 2026. Is there any discussion on this? No? Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the regular city council meeting minutes dated March 24th, 2026.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on. Regular agenda items. For item 4, we will have a presentation on the future Parker County Transportation Bond. Presentation is by Parker County Judge Pat Dean that's here. Thank you.
I see that 3 minutes is.
I think you can go over 3.
I won't go over much, and I
Okay.
appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for allowing me to come. And fortunately, we didn't have Chris Bosco with Freezer Nichols that's coming with us. He had a prior engagement. Mike Hill also had a prior engagement. I'm going to be very brief with this, and just really, there's a very important need here. And I want to thank everyone for coming to hear me speak, but I'm not sure that was the case. But we obviously have a transportation issue, and I'm your representative on the Regional Transportation Council. And I'm proud to say that we've gotten over $2 billion that is from federal money and local money that we are to spend. That's not giving us immediate relief right now if you're coming in and going west. That is a challenge, and we're working with TxDOT on that, and that's not why I'm here to try to deal with that. But the point I'm trying to make now is I need your help. And I'm going to all the cities, we are going to all the cities and talking about this very urgent need that we have, because in 2018, we updated as a county, that's when I took office, our current thoroughfare plan. And that's very important, because that thoroughfare plan that you have and all these cities has, it may have roads that go right through people's houses that may never get built, and so it cripples their property values. It also does not align with what the future vision is of the growth of this county. And so what we're asking you is, I've also been appointed to a steering committee of TxDOT. We have been really accounted to go to each of the cities and ask you each to update your thoroughfare plan and do it in a way that can actually, it's important that you do that. That will all tie into everyone to do a comprehensive transportation plan with the county. And once we do that, then that goes back to the steering committee. And then that establishes the long-range plan for connectivity through all these counties going in the eastern, or actually the quadrant here in North Texas. And so we're all working together on that. And so that steering committee is very, very important, but the number one priority is updating our thoroughfare plan, and we ask your help to do that. And so with that, we are going to implement that and combine that, and within 2 years, we're probably looking at another transportation bond. We used to be on a 7-year cycle. I will tell you this, that we've had 3, 2008, 2016, and 2023 as the 3 transportation bonds. The county has absorbed over to $100 million. We asked for your permission, but then we paid for it. And so there's not, it doesn't get any more credible than that. That we get your permission for that, and if we can absorb it, we will. We did nudge up the tax rate this last time about a penny on that because we just hit the wall and we couldn't continue to do that. And so, but we continue to try to do that on this next transportation bond. We hope to try to absorb that. And so what I'm asking here today is to please update your thoroughfare plan at your ability to do so. This is not a demand or anything like that, but as a partner to us, we're only as good as the cities that we're working with. And so we'll be going to each city with Aledo. We'll be going to Reno. We're going to do all the cities with Hudson Oaks and everyone else that we need y'all's help with that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Brian has something he wants to say also.
Okay. Brian Grimes.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome to be back. As part of the county thoroughfare plan, we've been tasked with putting a steering committee together of select individuals throughout the county. And in 2 weeks, we'll be nominating Councilman Eric Contreras to this committee. He has tentatively accepted, I think. It'll be the best and the brightest of Parker County and Eric. And but we look forward to working with you guys. We look forward to connecting. Right now, we see the biggest need to east-west connectors, try to get some of this traffic off of 20. While this is not part of the presentation, I was there Friday at the steering committee of TxDOT. I can tell you that the interchange at 1187, 3325, and 20 is the #1 priority for the TxDOT Fort Worth district. If for no other reason, 3 of the VPs live off of 3325 and have to travel it every day. So they will be, we will be addressing that. There will be an accelerated timeline, I think, released sometime in the next 6 weeks. And so you'll see some relief soon on that intersection. Any
Okay.
questions?
Do we have any discussion?
I've got one question for y'all, Judge. Brian, part of the funding for this, it's my understanding, will go to, for the county's improvement of East Bankhead Highway. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. One of the corridor plans that we're kicking tires on is extending 1187 and Bankhead back east, connect to 2030.
Okay.
And Parker County owns and maintains Bankhead Highway that is now in the city limits of Willow Park?
We have been maintaining Bankhead Highway for a number of decades. The documentation should be coming to you. If it wasn't here today, it'll be here tomorrow.
Okay.
We own the asphalt. We think we own the real estate by prescription. And so I'd encourage Andy to visit with John Forrest to get the i's and t's to cross.
Pretty good.
Okay, thank you.
Just one more thing in closing. Thank y'all for being a partner with us. We can't do this without y'all, and it's important as we solve this issue. You're closest to the fastest growing precinct, Eric, you know this, with Fort Worth, and it's critical. And they say, and this is from Phil King's office, that the density of people between Weatherford and Aledo will be more dense than between Dallas and Fort Worth in 40 years. And so that is a staggering number. If we're not being prepared for that, we're not doing our job. And I assure you that everything is being done. That is one of the most top priorities of my office, and we're going to continue to do that. Thank you.
Okay, we appreciate that. I think the main thing is when all our citizens try to get out, either to go to Fort Worth or Weatherford, we used to be able to pick a time. We want to go this period of time because we can get through traffic. Now, you cannot pick a time. You can go out there at 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, anytime during the day. So I think it's a very important issue that you're addressing, so we appreciate that.
Well, and thank you, Mayor. I want to say also that this has been a frustration with, I'll just be honest, I mean, we value our relationship with TxDOT, but there is a point of contention here that can we do this, work at night? Can we do other things? We're looking at all these options for them. We cannot have a 45-minute wait from Lost Ranch to Ranch House Road.
All right.
So I assure you everything's, thank you.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are skipping 5 until after executive session.
Do you need a motion to table it until after, or are we good to do that?
Either way, it's fine if she wants. She
Okay.
controls the meeting, so she's.
You don't
Good deal.
need a motion to do it?
If you want to, you can open the floor for one. I don't see that you need to, but if you want to.
Just making sure we covered it correctly. Thank you.
Right. Okay, we're not going to go into that then, we're just going to move on. So number 6 is discussion only, construction update on wastewater treatment plant. Chase McBride, you're going to present for us?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We are sitting at about 95% completion on the wastewater treatment plant. Basically, all we have left is fine details. About 35% of electrical work still needs to be done. And so initial startup roughly is going to be at the end of this month. It got pushed by a week or so due to weather from this schedule that I have presented to y'all. So we're looking at roughly the end of April, which will push through mid to probably the end of June, possibly mid-July, because we're having to transport wastewater from the old to the new to be able to actually test. It's a lot. It's to test basically half of the treatment plant. And then site work and everything is about 75% complete. The only thing that's left on that is final crushed rock, but we're due to Hudson Oaks. We're waiting to do that until they get their line in so they do not tear up what is put in. That's basically where we're at. It's just a lot of fine detail work between electrical and basically startup at this point. I did talk to the electrician today. He's scheduling a roughly 2-week shutdown to prepare for startup, and I believe that'll start Thursday.
Okay.
Any questions y'all have
Thank
for
you.
me?
Any discussion on that?
Is there
Very
any,
quick.
will there be any interruption of services while we move from
No.
one system to the other?
No.
Okay,
No.
good deal.
So we won't know it's happening, but you know it's happening.
Yeah, it's literally just turning one valve on and shutting another one.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, Chase. We appreciate you.
Thanks,
Chase,
Chase.
do you have something else to
Yes,
say?
ma'am.
Go ahead.
So we also have in there also the decommissioning
Oh,
of the
yes,
old
I'm sorry.
plant
Yes.
and potential
Environmental?
environmental on
Yes,
it.
sir.
So
We're still, I Don't have a whole lot of answers on that yet. The engineers are still kind of hashing out the operation of the commission, and they're vetting couple different contractors for that. So as soon as I just don't have that information as of yet, but it's being discussed and drawn up.
And we'll have it to where it's a seamless process of whenever we initiate the new one and it's fully operational to then have a full decommission and environmental cleanup right afterwards.
Yes, because we have 30 days after, the plant is up and running fully to get it removed. So it'll be pretty seamless transition through that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, we're moving on. Item 7 is to discuss and consider approval of an ordinance annexing into the corporate limits of Willow Park of approximately 7.290 acres of land being situated in the James Orr Survey, abstract number 1029, Parker County, Texas, thereby extending the boundary limits, amending the official map, and providing for matters related thereto. We just held a public hearing for this, and the property is located just south of Bankhead Highway and Willow Bend, and Chelsea is here presenting. Go right
Yes.
ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a requirement of our next steps for annexation of the tract owned by Barco Land LLC. City staff has received the ordinance from the City Attorney's Office, and it's attached for your review and approval. City staff has reviewed and recommended the ordinance approval as presented. It is also planning to go to P&Z for zoning change on the 21st, and will be represented to you on the 20th.
Okay, Dina, do you want to read the caption on the ordinance for us, please?
Yes, ma'am. If adopted, this will be ordinance number 936-26, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Willow Park, Texas, annexing the hereinafter described property consisting of approximately 7.29 acres of land out of the James Orr Survey, abstract number was 1029, Parker County, Texas, being generally located at the northwest corner of East Bankhead Highway and Torrey Court, and more particularly described and depicted in Exhibit A into the boundary limits of the City of Willow Park, Parker County, Texas, and extending the boundary lines of the city so as to include the described property within the city limits, finding and determining that all requirements for annexation, including public hearings, notices, open meetings, and execution of a written service agreement have been met according to law, providing for the incorporation of premises, granting to all the inhabitants of the property all the rights and privileges of other citizens, and binding the inhabitants by all of the ordinances, resolutions, acts, and regulations of the city, providing instructions for amending the official map and boundaries of the city, providing instructions for filing this ordinance, providing severability and cumulative clauses, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance was adopted was lawfully held in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Nope. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 936.26, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Willow Park as presented.
Second?
Second.
A lot of seconds. Okay. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Moving on. Item 8 is to receive a presentation of the City of Willow Park rebranding strategy, and we'll discuss and consider approval to proceed. Rose?
Good evening. Hang on, let me make sure I've got my clicker on. I initially did not have a plan to do any type of presentation as far as a PowerPoint tonight, but Mayor Palmer has asked some really good questions in the interim, so I thought we would get a little bit into some details, but this is mostly a broad conversation. I've been asked to present to you guys on a rebrand. So I want to go ahead and lay expectations right now. I do not have a new logo in this slide deck. That is not how this is going to work. So if anyone thinks I'm debuting a new, it's not a duck either, Scott. Although the ducks are fun with our logo on them. So basically, we're going to talk a little bit about what the process looks like, what a rebrand entails, kind of what this is for lay people. And then at that point, we're going to find out what you guys would like us to do. Going to my first slide, there's a lot of confusion about rebrand versus logo. A brand and a logo are not the same thing. A logo is part of our brand, so think of it as an umbrella, right? All of these things fall under the umbrella of our brand. Logo is one of the things that falls under the umbrella. Our brand is also our identity, it's our voice, it's our values, it's how we position ourselves in the market, which in our case is other cities, and it's also how our stakeholders feel about interacting with us, which I think is a really important thing to think about right now. We're going to focus mostly on the identity part of it tonight, which is the logo. So this is the history of the current logo. As near as I can tell, I do not have any actual firm history on any of this. So this is basically what I've learned anecdotally and from talking to people who have been here a long time. This logo has been in use as long as I can remember, but I wasn't paying attention in high school, so I'm not sure what they were using back then. When I started in 2018, there were no digitized files for the logo. No one had the color codes. No one had any type of vector illustration that we could use for graphic design. Basically, we had it sketched into like a loose JPEG that was really bad resolution, and they said, here, go forth and use this. So we have worked a little bit to get that consistent and get that up to date these days. When I started in 2018, there were at least 4 versions of the logo in use. So the current logo that we are using is one of those 4, but it means we have 3 rogue versions of this logo floating around. We didn't have any fonts, we didn't have any slogans, we didn't have a tagline, we didn't have a mission statement, all of the things that you use in branding, we have never had any of that. The city has since created a style guide to maintain what I consider bare minimum consistency. That is the style guide that we looked at last month that was March, right? Yep. It was March. Just a month ago, we looked at it. So that's what we have created in-house since then to try to at least get something of brand consistency and credibility. Anyone who's had a conversation with me for more than 5 minutes knows how passionate I am about consistency when it comes to our logo use. It's a point of pride for me that we do it correctly and we do it consistently every time. But in simple terms, we have never had a clear brand identity or strategy. I think now is a great time to change that, and it's for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think we can all agree that Willow Park is at a bit of a crossroads. Now would be a great time to identify what we really want our values and our vision as far as our voice goes to be in our brand. And I think now is a really good time to start having those conversations. Reason number 2 is because we are in the process of doing a survey right now on our comprehensive plan. We are looking at what the public wants right now. And there are questions in that survey about what do you think our values should be that guide us as a city? What do you think of when you think of Willow Park? What are your concerns and what are you proud of? These are all the types of things that we would research for a new brand. So we're actually already doing that research. So this is a great time to strike. Here's our challenges currently. On the left-hand side, you will see some other logos that also feature the laurel wreath design. I could do an entire PowerPoint just on this. There are a lot of your logos that use a laurel wreath, up to and including some things we might not necessarily want to be associated with. I can't speak on the value of Miller Lite, but I personally don't particularly want to get confused with Ridgely Country Club. We're 2 very different things. There's a lot of laurel wreath logos. The middle set of pictures shows you that the current colors that we use for our logo are very hard to reproduce consistently. On the top picture, which is a cup that we did a couple of years ago, it's very bronze. On the bottom, you can see it's bright yellow. It's very difficult to get that consistent. And then on the right side, I promise I know my right from my left. On the right side, that is a pin that we had produced a couple of years ago. You cannot even tell that it's a wreath because it is so hard to put on something that small. Below that, you will see a shirt that actually belonged to one of our former staffers. The WP was impossible to recreate in embroidery. We have had a lot of challenges with looking like we know what we're doing when it comes to this stuff, which is one of the reasons why I think it's time to have this conversation. We want to be clear, consistent, and authentic in the way that we interact with our community. A good brand is a great foundation for that, and I will leave that as food for thought on that point. What the process would look like and what it entails. So there's 3 steps. The first step is research, and that's when we talk to our community, just like we're doing in the comprehensive plan survey right now. So we would go in and we would do where we talk to stakeholders, maybe do some surveying. We're already doing a lot of that now. So a lot of the data that we're already compiling and pulling can be used for research, which would be a significant cost savings. We can cut out on a lot of what it would cost us to do this because we're already in the process of doing this. The design part is the part that absolutely cannot be done in-house. You guys have probably noticed I am not a professional graphic designer. I am able to create what we need as a city, and I'm able to execute it well. This is well above my pay grade. Because it's not just let me design a logo in Canva and we'll use that from now on, right? There are hundreds of hours of design work that go into creating a logo and creating a brand kit. These people, assuming that we do choose to outsource the design phase of it, and that's going to be my strong, strong recommendation, they will design not only the logo and all of the files associated with the logo, which is a lot of work in and of itself, but they will also design our deliverables, like our business cards, our letterheads, our slide decks, and they will all make it look good, and they will all make it in a way that everyone on staff is able to use them independently, and they don't have to come to me and say, Rose, I can't find the letterhead, and me go, oh gosh, let me see where I put it. So that would help us as far as, again, consistency, credibility across everything in the city. The third one is implementation, and that's when we put the logo on stuff, and also when we live the consistency that we are trying to create. It is not enough to say this is what we want to be about, this is the level of professional we want to be. We got to walk the walk too. So implementation is part of walking the walk. It also includes things like replacing signs, replacing business cards, replacing decals on trucks, replacing the placard nameplates. I knew that word, I promise. Replacing nameplates. We're going to talk about that a little bit more on the next slide, but the implementation is both philosophically, are we aligning with what we want our brand values to be, and also does everything look alike, which everyone knows is a pet peeve of mine. How much does it cost? So I've spoken to several other cities about this. For comparable cities to us as far as what we would need and what our needs are, the RFPs for the other cities are coming in anywhere between 10 grand and 150. Is a really big discrepancy. It depends, some of that is research and implementation costs, which again, I've said most of that we can do in-house. So mainly what we're going to need is help with the design specifically. And again, that's going to be something that I very much recommend that we use an outside vendor for. I think that's going to save us a lot of time and heartache after the fact. The 10 to 150 number that I have seen other cities have does not include replacing digital and physical assets such as signage, business cards, uniforms, decals on videos, all the things that we talked about a few minutes ago. Most of those, if we were to do something like this, my recommended strategy would be that we replace them as they cycle out at end of life. So obviously things like nameplates can be fairly easily replaced. Decals on trucks we would probably go ahead and do because that's not a gigantic cost. Things like signage and other things as they wear out would be our recommendation for replacement. When the city of Arlington did their rebrand a while back, it took them 10 years to get everything completely replaced and cycled out. We are much smaller scale. It will not take us that long, but it'll probably take a couple of years. Otherwise, we're talking about dropping a lot of cash really quickly, and I don't think any of us want to do that. I think that cycling things out as they need to be replaced is absolutely the most cost-effective and conservative way to do this. That said, the design services and rebrand as a whole are very much a get-what-you-pay-for situation. If we cheap out on this, it's going to show. So on that note, here's what I'm asking from you guys. I would like you guys to authorize staff to implement the rebrand process, which begins with, like we said, research. So this is not going to be a next week I show you guys a logo and say we're putting this on everything. I need y'all to set a budget for me on what you think is a reasonable amount to spend on this process. I can give you some numbers that I have in mind if y'all are interested. And then after that, stay tuned for updates on the progress. Does anyone have any questions? I bet you do.
I do. Rose,
Yes,
how
ma'am.
many companies are you looking at?
I have spoken to 3 different companies very loosely. Right now, I don't have the specs on what this project is going to look like until I get more guidance from you guys. So I'm not able to tell you exactly who we would be interested in using and whose services because it's too soon to tell. But we are talking to a couple of different folks. So it just really kind of depends on what council and mayor would like me to do.
So you don't know whether you're at 10,000 or 15 or where we are?
Rough estimate based on what I know about what I've looked at from what other cities have paid and what we're going to need, probably about 25K is what we're going to need to budget for this.
Okay. Do y'all have discussion on that?
I've had 2 citizens reach out and they said they had some ideas on the logo itself. Is there any way, I'm not suggesting that we have a contest or anything like that, but can we set a deadline date? And if anybody in our city has a great idea, a drawing or sketch or something of that nature, could we possibly?
I think having a period of time for folks to be able to provide feedback is certainly something we want to do as part of the research project or process. That said, I want it to be very clear, if we do invite submissions, that is not a guarantee that we will
Right,
choose.
no,
one.
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Gene had a question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gene, please.
You were talking about you couldn't find where the original
Mhm.
logo was.
Yes,
I
sir.
think if you look at the elevated tower, take a digital picture of it, you'll find that that's been there since 2004, 2005, something like that.
So you would like me to take a picture of the water tower and use that as our digital file?
Absolutely.
Okay, Gene. I think that one's,
But, hey, come on, the calculating capability can take the curve out of it.
that one's above my pay grade too. I don't think I can do those kind of calculations.
Captains had the program that embroidered the shirts, because I've got 3 of them. 2012.
I have the digital files now. We've since created. Yes, but thank you. I appreciate you trying to make sure I got what I needed.
Any other discussion
Anyone
on
else?
this?
All right. I don't necessarily want to ask this, but I'm going to because I think it'll come up with most people. They'll think, why not just throw your ideas into an AI, a chat GPT type thing? Talk to me about why, as those technologies expand, we're looking at using professional designers and what that will bring to the process that will help us.
ChatGPT does not have the technological capability to create what we need. Full stop. There are certain file types that have to happen. There is a process called vectorization that has to happen. That can only be done by people at the moment. Also, and I'm going to say this gently because I know a lot of people are very much in favor of ChatGPT graphics, that is not putting the level of thought and professionalism into this that I think is important to us as a city.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, is there a motion to start the process? No? Nobody wants to start the process.
Fair enough.
Sounds
You
like
guys have the
we-
information whenever you're ready.
Sounds like we want to table that. Are we
So
going
I'd
to
make
vote
a
for
motion.
table?
I'd like to do some more research and be able to give you a more knowledgeable answer on how I'd like to proceed.
Certainly.
And so I'll make a motion to table this item until, now that we've had this presentation. we can-
Absolutely.
Okay,
can
do we
think
have
on it
a
a little bit
second on
more.
that?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Hang on, we're going to put a date on it or just bring it back to the
The
table?
the next council meeting, I believe
Yes,
the
sir.
28th.
And if any of you would like to follow up with questions or anything, I'm available via email or I can meet with y'all. Anything you'd like to know further, I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry, Rose, you answered this for me. I just want to make sure about, we can't use hot funds or hot.
No, sir.
Okay.
I've already researched it. It is
Yep.
unfortunately not an eligible expense under hot
Gotcha.
funding.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, everybody. All
Thank you,
right.
Rose.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to move on to item 9, is to discuss and consider approval of ordinance, the City of Willow Park, Texas, amending the City of Willow Park Code of Ordinances, Chapter 9, Personnel, Article 9.02, Officers and Employees, Division 2, City Manager amending 9.02.033, Nature of Duties and of Position. So providing for repeal, savings, and severability clauses, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. Sean, would you like to share some input on this, some ideas that you might have?
Well, I think we're referencing the chief of police position, correct?
Yes.
What it was, and Andy can probably help out with this too, we were all under this impression and have been since I've been on council. The city manager, the city secretary, and the police, chief of police are hired and I guess dismissed by us. It has come to our attention that the chief of police position is handled strictly by the city manager. I totally disagree with that. I think we have 6 people up here that can pick that position well, and I think it would be in our best interest to go back to that. Like I said, we've been under the impression we were doing that the whole time, but I would like a motion that we go back to council and mayor selecting that position.
Okay, so there are 2 points I'd like to make on that. So first, our city code under Article 9.03 designates the city council as the final authority over the selection of police department personnel. Second, it looked to me like there was a recodification in 2024 that affected the city administrator duties and the police department. I'm unsure why these different sections of code conflict with each other, so they should be fixed. Do we all agree on that idea? You have discussion on that?
Yeah, I was going to ask, Andy, can you speak to the history and what you found in your legal research through that as well?
Yeah, Melissa Cranford, who's our employment specialist, researched this, and she came to the conclusion when looking through all of the ordinances that the position reported to the city manager. I didn't double check that. That's fairly typical in cities, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And so, as a policy matter, if the council wants to be in charge of the police chief, that's the policy decision for the council.
Okay. I know that she spoke about the potential for issues with having, a volunteer committee on that.
We're a paid committee now.
$1 a meeting, yes.
I know,
Yeah,
but you can't call us volunteer.
Yeah, so could you speak to some of those concerns that I believe she addressed last time and why she felt at the time that it would be better to remain under the city manager versus, I guess, some of the benefits to either side, if you have those that you could.
Yeah, I didn't talk to her about that, so I'm not prepared to speak to that. I'm happy to do that, but I don't know those off the top of my head. To me, this is a pure policy decision.
Okay.
It has nothing, I don't see potential liability
Okay.
one way or the other necessarily.
So 9.03.033, selection, appointment, and compensation of members. Selection and appointment, those members, officers are to be appointed and approved by the city council. All officers in the police department shall remain employed as police officers at the pleasure of the city council and for such terms as the city council may direct. So it sounds like the understanding was, and our chief of police got here like 2 months before I was even elected. So, but it was, from what I understood, it was the city council that y'all elected to hire him. Is that right, Sean?
Yes, ma'am, we did. We interviewed a number of applicants and did personal interviews, and then we made our final decision as a council. And
One of our lawyers in our employment section is here to speak to that.
Okay, perfect.
Allison, you want to?
Thank you.
Sure. Perhaps you can provide information.
I did have some conversation with Melissa regarding this particular ordinance and her research. She couldn't be here tonight because of a conflict. Her concerns would be council removing itself from the policy into the operations in the police department, because you would not just be receiving the police chief as oversight, but in terms of the entire department. There are concerns that you could be named as potential individually if there is an issue, particularly under Section 1983, which relates to law enforcement activities. The other big issues could come under FMLA and FLSA as being the big federal statutes that address these issues, and those are going to be concerns that now council does have some shield for because this position reports to the city manager.
So you're suggesting that we leave it under the city manager, you and Melissa on your research, that we should not have the council?
We're not making a suggestion, just giving some information as to the potential liability that could, be reflected on the council so that you have enough information to make your decision as to whether or not you want to make this change, but we're not making a recommendation as to.
I have a question. So when we voted, which, Sean, thank you very much, taking us for $25 to $1 per meeting. Appreciate that. Can't go to Whataburger for that.
I'll buy you lunch.
Right. So my question is, we went forward, and you and Andy together, I guess, we went forward and decided to get paid, right? To lessen our liability is what I think Prince was telling us.
That's right.
So if if the council decides that they want to be in charge of the police chief and all the officers, does that not protect us because we are getting paid?
Where you have to look at the potential types of claims and liabilities. And so the reason that we recommended the council get paid is because for what's called torts, wrongful death and personal injury, those types of state law claims, council's considered to be an employee under the Tort Claims Act and protected by that if you're paid. So you would have extra protection for state tort claims. This wouldn't really be addressing that. What she's talking about are federal civil rights claims for police liability and federal employment claims. I don't see really liability for civil rights 1983 claims. I can't really speak to the employment type claims. I'm not that familiar with the employment law like that. That's why
So do we
employment lawyers-
still have the liability if we have the city manager over the police and the chief and everyone else? Do we as a city not still have that liability in that direction?
It would, if there is potential liability upstream, it would put a layer between the council and the police chief.
Because it stays at the operational
But, I mean-
standpoint versus the legislative standpoint.
But we're not doing day-to-day operations. We're hiring and firing the chief and giving him what our direction is for the city. We're not going to his staff and going, hey, you're working
Right.
here, you're doing this, you're getting promoted. That's never happened. This was not a broke system. We just somehow, I don't know how she found this, but it wasn't broke to start with. I think we need to revert back to what we originally thought it was. It worked, it's been working. I don't have enough faith to put this in one person, this position. Do not, absolutely do not. And I'm not putting this on Tony, I don't care who's sitting in that seat. I don't have enough faith for one person to do that.
So Sean, you'd like to make a motion to put it under the council where you thought it was?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do we have a second on that? Second, anybody?
Before we do that, real quick, I just want to make sure, just for a clarification point here, is we're just saying hiring, firing, that is it. We're not talking about any type of, anything else that goes along with
Anything
managing a police chief.
Below other than giving him our direction of what we want for the city. But we have no say how he commands his people, where he puts them or anything of that. We are not going to take charge of any of that whatsoever. We never have, we never would. That'd be unheard of.
Right.
That's why we're hiring a professional to do that.
Perfect. So Fritz, is that, is what he said okay? And then move forward and have a second on that? Okay, I second that.
That's not Fritz.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Andy, I'm sorry.
No problem.
So,
You can
said Fritz earlier, so I was like, oh.
You can segregate those duties.
Perfect. Let's do that.
Okay, so Sean made a motion. Eric, are you seconding?
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor?
Question still.
Question
Yes.
still?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to make sure before we proceed.
All right,
that we
Nathan,
have
go ahead.
The city manager's responsibility then to communicate, be a director to the chief of police. How does that relationship then work if they are no longer in charge of that hiring and firing? Is our chief of police still reporting through city manager, two different things?
I think they would still have their contact with the city manager and, day-to-day business. I mean, they're the full-time employees, we're not. We just have the ability to dismiss them.
Yeah, I've got to think that, operationally, the city manager has to run the show.
Right.
So as in terms of directors of the departments that we have in the city, the police chief is just one of the directors that we have. I guess my point is that we're carving out something that's inconsistent. We're not hiring and firing the other department heads.
Well,
We're
we
picking
are.
one.
There's three positions, the city secretary, the city manager, and the police chief.
And now city attorney. And city
And the
attorney
court.
now.
Okay.
And the court.
And Fritz.
And court.
And the
And
board.
Fritz,
And they're
right.
meeting?
Fritz.
You'd like to be included in that?
So there are four positions that we do, hire and fire, and basically they answer to us.
Okay, any other questions?
But still answerable operationally, day to
Operationally,
day.
yeah, to the-
Everything goes straight to the manager.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
She is professional staff. That's what she
Yes.
does.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Any other discussion before we move forward? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of putting the council in charge? Okay. 3-2, passes.
Oh, say all opposed.
All opposed. There you go. Okay, it passes. All right. Now we're going to move on to executive session. We have taken 5 and 10 and put it behind executive session at the request of our city attorney. So the next session is executive, and in accordance with the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapter D, the city council will recess an executive session to discuss the following. Section 551.071, consultation with city attorney, City of Aledo, Texas, and City of Fort Worth, Texas versus City of Willow Park, Texas, cause number CV 26-0175 in Parker County District Court, 43rd District. Number 12, Section 551.071, consultation with city attorney regarding police investigation. Number 13, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, City of Willow Park versus Half and Associates. 14, Section 551.071, consultation with the attorney, renewal of the contract with Trinity Christian Academy for SRO officer. Section 15, Section 551.074, personal matters, city manager selection process. Then Section 551.074, personal matters, municipal court judge. We are moving item 5 to discuss and consider awarding a construction contract to Sky Blue Utilities, Inc. for the Bankhead Utility Extension Project Phase 2 in order to provide water and sewer to Belledine Development at I-20 and FM 1187. And then we're going to move to 10. We're going to take that to executive session, and that is to approve disannexation ordinance addressing a scrivener's error regarding 2,603 square feet right-of-way. So we're going to take those to executive session, and then we will come back. So it is now 7:27, and we'll go to executive session. Thank you. Okay, it is 9:53. We're going to reconvene in an open session in accordance with the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. The City Council will reconvene into a regular session to consider action, if any, on the matters discussed in executive session.
Yeah, I just want to clarify on agenda items 5 and 10, those are just moved to after executive session. They weren't in executive session.
Right, so I'll read those, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's 9:54. So do we have any action? No.
I think so.
No. Okay, so we have no action. We're going to move on. We put 5 to the back. I've got one more thing I'm going to do. So item 5 is to discuss and consider awarding a construction contract to Sky Blue Utilities, Inc. for the Bankhead Utility Extension Project Phase 2 in order to provide water and sewer to Belledine Development at I-20 and FM 1187. Hi, would you like to talk? Are you Nick Kirk,
Yes,
aren't you?
ma'am.
Okay, Nick Kirk wants to talk. Go ahead.
And I'm just here to present the recommendation as seen for base bids A and B, and then alternates to do pavement repair on top of those for a total of $4,122,003.40. And this would be from force mains all the way from the brewery, I guess over by Taco Bueno kind of area, all the way to Willow Park Village, force main from Willow Park Village to the new Haney lift station, and then water and sewer all the way to 1187. Pretty big stuff. Would aid the development of it. we would all see there. So if there's any questions y'all have,
How much did you say?
$4,122,003.40.
Wow, okay. Y'all want some discussion on that?
You talk about the bid process, how everything came in and what it all looked like and how we arrived with
Yes.
the letter of recommendation here, but just speak on that a little bit as well.
So we got 8 bids. Sky Blue was the lowest of all those bids in all of the categories. So we had 2 bids. One was for the water, one was for the sewer. Sky Blue was the lowest in both of those categories, as well as the alternates that were selected. Sky Blue has done a lot of work for our firm and came highly recommended from all of those projects. We have made our bidding process more stringent since the roads project, because I know everyone remembers that. And so they're required to prove prior history and successful projects of this caliber, and they have. So with those 8 bids, they came in the lowest in the time frame that is expected and highly recommended from other projects.
Okay.
Bidding was, the advertisements were out for about 5 or 6 weeks, which is longer than normal, just to ensure that we could get as much outreach as possible, to ensure that we had quality bidders, which we did.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to award the construction contract to Sky Blue Utilities Incorporated as presented.
I second.
Second, Buddy wants to second. All in favor? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
We appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move to 10. Discussion action to approve disannexation ordinance addressing a scrivener's error regarding 2,603 square feet right-of-way. Andy or Tony?
Happy to do it if you'd like. So this is a 2,603 sliver of property that is on the south part of Bankhead Highway, right at Champions Drive, that the city of Aledo claims is in their city limits. We previously annexed all of Bankhead Highway, and so subject to the legality of a resolution 0205R by both Fort Worth and Aledo, recommending that the council consider disannexing this sliver of property so that there's no dispute with Aledo about this 2,603 square foot
Okay.
rectangular tract.
Do we have a motion?
Do we need to read the ordinance, Dina, or you have the number, or?
Yeah, if you want, you could read.
Yes,
caps.
the ordinance number will be 93826. An ordinance of the City of Little Park, Texas, providing for the disannexation of certain territory being approximately 0.060 acres of land located in the J. Brown Survey, Abstract 69, and generally located south of Bankhead Highway and east of Champions Drive, Parker County, Texas, and being more particularly described by meets and bounds and graphically depicted in Exhibit A, attached hereto and incorporated herein, providing for the reduction of the boundary limits of said city so as to exclude the described property from the city limits, providing for correcting the official map and boundaries of said city, providing severability, savings, conflict, and cumulative clauses, providing instructions for filing this ordinance, finding and determining the meeting at which this ordinance is adopted to be open to the public as required by law, and providing an effective date.
Okay, now do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the disannexation.
938.
Disannexation ordinance 938-26 as presented.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, done on that. Okay, so I would like to update the citizens on the lawsuit involving Bankhead Highway and Beldine Ranch. Myself, council members Eric Contreras and Scott Smith, together with some of our staff and attorneys, attended an all-day mediation on Thursday, March 19th. All parties participated in the mediation, including with the owner of the Beldine Ranch, Aledo, and Fort Worth to seek resolution of the issues in the pending lawsuit. Unfortunately, the issues were not resolved, so the lawsuit continues. I wanted to let everybody know that's where we are, and that we did have mediation. Okay, number 17, informational comments, city manager comments, response, and reaction to the meeting. I don't think we have any, do we?
I just had a thank you, please, to, in addition for the Home Rule Committee, just to thank the residents for taking up, taking an interest in our city. So, I mean, that's a difficult thing to do. So just to thank all of them for their participation, as well as our city staff, and for Rose Hoffman for being involved with that and making sure that all of those things got on the website as they were to be, as well as Danny McMullen for doing that as well to make sure that we had things posted when they were supposed to. Todd Covington of Covington Services of having to make sure that those things were streamed live. And then also for Fritz Cross to have taken his time to be there to help to direct those things as well. So I just wanted to thank them as well. And also for just really all of our staff. I can't express enough every time of how incredible our staff is. So from anything like from the front door, walking through all the way for PD, you're all just incredible, and I'm honored to work with all of you. So I just want to say that, and thank you for council and mayor for supporting us and allowing for us to do the jobs that we do, so to serve our community. So thank you for that. And then for staff responsibilities, my point to that was of just that we've heard that there have been some comments of the chatter, and I realize that we're in a very volatile time right now. Lots of things are said, and some things are meant and some things are not, but that there have been some comments made of staff being either, I believe the word was crooked, actually, is what I heard. And the fact that we advocated data centers and multifamily and things of that. I just want to be very clear of the fact that staff has to follow our ordinances, most of which were done long before any of us current staff have been here. And so we're following ordinances, we're following the comp plans, we're following the zoning maps and things of all of these things, the CIP plan, all of these things that have been done by our P&Z, which is a panel of our residents, of our council members who are elected and appointed panels of our residents. And so we as staff doing the best that we can. It is not up to our opinion as to whether we like something or we don't, nor is it that of the Planning and Zoning Commission. So it is not of our opinion. We follow simply the guidelines that are placed before us to make the best decisions we feel are necessary to recommend or not to the City Council for what we believe would be the best option for the future of the City of Willow Park and its residents. So anyway, I won't get on a soapbox any more than that, just to let you know that we are, remember when you're saying things out there, we're humans too, and we may have to work, but we don't have to work here. And that's not meant as a threat, it's meant as the fact of just public service. Just respect the fact of the fact that, we do our best with what we can. And so I just want to thank all of our staff for hanging in there because, sometimes things are said and they're just misunderstood and sometimes it's just unnecessary, but we still come back to work every day. So I just want to thank all of them for their perseverance and tenacity and their hard work of doing what we all think is best for the interest of the city and its residents. So.
Okay, thank you. All right, and 18, I echo some of your comments because as all of us are sitting here, if you pay attention to chatter, social media, gossip, it will kill you.
Yep.
So I think we just do what we do as best we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Sitting here, and I think y'all need to do the same thing. You're doing the best that you can, and we do the same, and I would suggest you ignore social media and the news that puts things out as we have to carry on with what we're doing. So, Any other comments from anybody before we move on? Nope, nope. Okay, good. 19, community interest, again, July 4, 2026, the District of Willow Park. Again, more details coming, yes?
Mayor Palmer, I do want to say that it has a name now.
Oh. what is
Willow
that?
Spark.
Willow Spark.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Do we have any future agenda items? I don't see we have any. Do we?
Yeah, I want to talk about something and see if we think that we need to bring this up and create an agenda item on it. Is there is a lot of chatter on signs out there and signs that may or may not be within the Texas law. Looking at it from a city perspective, we have nothing we can do if a potential sign is out of compliance. So the question I would have is do we want to try to put an agenda item out there and create an ordinance that follows state law, which I think everybody wants us to do, is follow state law, so we're all playing by the same playbook, and have the transparency out there that I think the public wants.
I think that the sign issue is being addressed right now. I think heads up, watch that. From my understanding from yesterday. So
What does that mean?
But
just wait and watch and see. It's been addressed.
I don't know what that means, so.
No, you don't know what it means.
Yeah,
but
I don't know
think I
what
can share it at this
things
point, but it
addressed
will be.
But I think from a city perspective, having something in there that follows Texas law would be a good thing, with also, you know, if somebody does something, and not saying anybody is doing anything, but just saying if there is something out there, that there is actually penalties behind it.
I mean, we have a sign ordinance for everything else
Correct.
that people have to follow by.
Yeah, I think we're calling out a sign issue that possibly is not valid. So
Then-
if you want to talk about that issue, that's fine. But I think accusing people of a sign issue at this point needs to be investigated, addressed, which it is right now, from my understanding. But if you
By
want
who?
to talk about it,
No, I didn't accuse anybody of anything. All I said is it would be nice that our city would have something in place to follow Texas law and to have transparency, which I think
do we
everybody
not have
wants us.
that? We don't have it
No,
now?
we don't have any
We don't,
mechanism
no.
if something is out of compliance
Okay.
to do
I think
anything
the
about
thing
it.
is more just finding if there are laws to having mechanisms that have teeth behind it, instead of like, you may have speed limit signs, but if you have nobody to enforce the speed limit, do you really have speed limits? So
Okay.
it's kind of the finding a way to, if I'm understanding you correctly, that's where you're, I would say that with any law that we have, that we don't have
So you
teeth
want to put it
behind,
on a future
whether it's a
agenda?
sign or anything, it needs to be
Yes,
full-
and the
full-
question I have is, do we want to have a special meeting so that way this can get addressed as soon as possible? So that way, Mayor, you can call a special meeting, so that way we can get this agenda item addressed, and potential ordinance, or 3 council members can do it. But I think in the act of following Texas law and also transparency, this would be something that I think everybody would want.
Well, I think our next meeting is May 12th. Are you suggesting you want us to come back in here
Our
again?
next meeting was May 28th.
Yeah.
April.
We got
April.
I mean, April, I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Is
Different month.
is
So
have
April
something
28th.
prior to
Yeah.
that,
I like
absolutely.
that idea, though. I like
Yeah.
that idea.
I know. I was trying, right? 10 o'clock at night, okay.
Just to clarify, are you talking specifically about political signs?
That is what has been
Because that's
brought
what
up
it's.
a lot. Yeah, that's what it, yes.
As
that's
comments been made,
correct.
we have a general sign ordinance.
Yes.
That's
it-
not what
it
you're
would be,
specifically talking
because
about.
that's what's been out there.
You're only talking about political signage.
Correct.
But what's out there is the accusation that the political signs are not legal. If you will do your research, you'll find they are. So
If
I don't
they-
know why we want a
Well,
special meeting when they're already legal, if you will.
If they're
Go
legal, there's
look.
nothing to worry about then.
I know, we just don't need to do another meeting. Oh, my gosh. I mean, why do we need to do that?
Don't you think it's important to follow Texas law and be transparent?
We have the signs, right? And if you will look at the signs for the disclaimers, I think that's what you're addressing. Are you addressing that?
Well, we don't have anything, our ordinance doesn't state to it. I think that's what he was getting at, is we have sign ordinances, but they don't.
But as part of the packet for election, I just need to pull it because I haven't read it in a while. But there is information in every council member packet that they get to sign up to run for council regarding political signs, like as to when you can put it out, when you have to pick it up and things like that. Can we look at that first and see if that
Houston?
covers that?
Houston, you've done this recently, so do you have to do paperwork, and did you do paperwork? How does that work?
We did paperwork.
Uh-huh.
And like Dina was explaining,
Mhm.
it was explained to us what we could do and how we could do it.
Okay.
What the timeframes are.
Right.
And we have to go follow those guidelines.
Right.
So there
Those
are
set by-
guidelines.
Those are set by state.
Okay, I'm sorry?
Those are set by the state.
Okay, so we do have guidelines set by the state that y'all had to follow.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right?
But the
Okay.
particular item that they're discussing, I just need to research that a little more with what has been given out. Because I don't know that that particular statement is in that particular document.
Okay, so you'll do research?
I'll look at that, yes.
Okay.
And I'll
So
send
you'll
an
let us
email out.
know.
I'll send out an
We'll
email
talk about
to all
that.
of you with a copy of it. So, yeah.
Okay.
But there is information in the candidate packet
Right.
for everyone about what the requirements are for signage.
Right.
For political signs.
And that's what y'all had to do.
And there,
yes?
you can set them up, but you have to wait a certain time to set them up. You have to take them down by a certain day. But the verbiage that they're discussing or talking about, I don't know that that's, I can't remember. It's been a hot minute since I've looked at that. So I need to go back and look at that again and see.
Okay.
And then I can let you know.
Okay.
But
that'd be
Dina, the
great.
city doesn't have any.
The city doesn't have any ability to go and remove signs
Right,
or do
and-
any of that kind of thing either.
Yeah,
I've
that's what I
always
thought you were
been
getting
told
at.
that we were not allowed to do that, that if there was a problem with the sign, I particularly remember one in another city I worked for, that our code enforcement removed it, and we were told by not only the candidate, but all the political peeps that we cannot. I made our code enforcement, which I reprimanded him for doing that, but the rule was that we had to call the candidate and tell them what the problem was, and they were to address it. We, as the city, could not do that. Now, that was a few years ago, but
But was there a specific ordinance in that city, in that
no.
process?
No, just the regular about, and it wasn't even a city race, it was like a representative or whatever, but it was in the city easement, and it didn't meet the sign requirements, and it was in the city easement, almost sitting on a sidewalk. So they removed it, but we had to take it back.
Yeah.
So you'll do research and let us know?
Yes, ma'am.
So we can
Yes, ma'am.
know what we want to do going forward? Okay. Does anybody have a motion to adjourn? Dina. Sorry, Dina wants to go home.
Are you good? All right, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Were you done talking?
I was going to ask Andy what he thought about that.
What I know is generally those things are, if there's issues, they're covered from the Texas Ethics Commission and by state law.
Correct.
And you have to look at that. And they, complaints can be filed with them that they investigate and have consequences on. If there's more than that, I'm happy to look into that. I don't, off the top of my head right now, I don't know the extent of what that would be. I know it's heavily regulated by the state.
Right.
So there is no reason to do an ordinance or anything on that?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. So we'll
Sorry.
get further information. Okay. Perfect, I'm done.
Okay, we done?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Second.
You want to go
Yeah, I said
home?
my motion still stands, yes.
You stand.
A second.
Second. All in favor? Adjourn. Okay, Sean, did you get your hand up there?
I did. It was unanimous.
I counted them whether it did or not.
You're welcome. Costco for that one.